What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. So guys, a brother sent me this particular TikTok clip about a week ago, and I'm just now getting to it today. And it pretty much discusses something that we already know about racism in the dating world. Now, as black men, many of us feel that, okay, we're like the number one sought after men out there in the country. And I just don't believe that that's true. I believe that, you have some black men who are highly sought after. That's because they're in sports and entertainment. But on average, most black men, if they're looking to deal with the upper elite women in our community, and let's just say even in the, the white sector, hell, even in the Pan-African sector, like I say, deal with like an Ethiopian woman or Eritrean woman, they're typically a secluded group, unless you're in big cities like New York or maybe Philadelphia. But in general, if you're going to be an African American and you're dealing with like an Ethiopian woman or other women like that, you have to be an exceptional guy. One of my buddies is an Ethiopian wife, but he's a goddamn psychiatrist. So, he has to be like either very, very accomplished or very, very good looking, right? And what I've noticed is that with Caucasian men or white men, they don't really have to be to that level. I've seen it, in my many travels to Africa. I've seen it, in Europe. A black woman will typically, go to the white guys, even if they have less. But you know what? It's not even me that's going to point this out. There's an Indian lady who's going to point out this preference, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to kind of build on it here.
Oh, here's a little uncomfortable topic you and I can talk about. Let's talk about how some of y'all, when you look at the trajectory of hookups and relationships that you've had, you will hook up with average looking white people, but only choose to hook up with extremely attractive people of color. It's almost as if you were equating the attractiveness of an average white person to a beautiful person of color. It's almost as if you will only hook up with a person of color if they are extraordinarily attractive, whereas white people don't have to fit that exact standard in order for them to be hookup material. Let's talk about it.
Let me just say this, guys. This is absolutely true. And there are a few reasons for it. The first reason is that white men and white people represent the system of success. Whether we know it or not, or whether we want to agree with it, it's true. I mean, those of us who are African or come from Africa, our speech patterns, our cadences, our tonality, and our voice, it mimics that of white people. Okay, we're educated by the whites. We think somewhat like them. We are westernized. So they have conquered the world. And then when you are anybody else other than that, you are those who are conquered into the system. Even this young lady is Indian. She sounds like a Caucasian woman. Even me, I'm talking in English in the vernacular that is similar to an American Caucasian man. So that's the first thing. So white men also represent the second thing, which is the group. Black men and other guys, I will just deal with the blacks, but blacks, when you see them out, they represent the individual, the cool guy, the guy that has swag, the guy that can talk, the guy that, he can make everybody kind of laugh. That's what the black man represents. The white man, he represents longevity. He represents the infrastructure, big buildings, big corporations, represents the government, the police force, the doing business in the correct way, if you will. And even if that's not the case for all white men, it's what he represents. And the brand is already established when he goes anywhere else. Like if you go to Brazil, yeah, it's true that black, women will definitely date an American in Brazil. But when a white guy is there, that's what they see. He represents the brand. Even if he's dusty, he's average, he's nothing like the top percentage of guys in the world. Doesn't matter. He's also white. He represents the brand and the image of white men. Okay, I've even seen this in Ukraine. I talked about this. Turkish guys in Ukraine were doing, very good in the country. They had a lot of businesses. So whenever Turkish men came, a lot of Ukrainian women wanted to deal with Turkish guys because they represented what the white guys kind of represented in the West. But not only that, they represent also to a lot of women. They can give you what the white babies, the mulatto babies, right? That's an important thing. When a woman has a child, especially like in the black community, the one thing the white man can give her that we cannot give her is a mixed race kid. Now, I'm not saying that we can't give her a light skinned kid, but definitely a light skinned kid that has more privilege because of skin tone, because he's closer to white. That's definitely something that women get. So even if that guy is not as successful, that one white baby or half black baby, that is what they can do. And I know that guys are offended by it, but here's what needs to happen. Until you become more successful, it's always going to be that way. Productivity is the way to change the narrative. Just like white men did it, it is no different with us. We have to produce to create our own narrative. Everybody has to do that. I remember, guys, in like 2001, there was the Twin Tower situation in 9/11. Hatred amongst the Islamic community from Americans was at an all-time high. I mean, I would have been afraid to be, from Saudi Arabia or from Iraq or Iran, even if you're Shiite, right? I would have been afraid to be that person, be there. Why? Because the hatred towards the Muslims was just so bad. The Islamic community got together and was like, listen, we're not changing our religion for any fear. Forget that. We're going to lobby the people in our country to change these laws for us and have anti-Muslim hate laws. And what do you have now? You cannot talk down on those people at all. Same thing with LGBTQ. I remember Living Color. There was free reign to talk about gays, make fun of them in the 80s and stuff like that. It was never a problem. 2022, you have everybody shouting out Gay Pride Month. You better not. It's only certain cities in that time that were even cool with allowing gays to really be in the city. I was like San Francisco, certain elements of Oakland, like literally West Coast cities. But now it's all over the place, right? You have gay marriage allowed everywhere. Why? Because those people, they were seeking power, and people are very friendly towards the LGBTQ agendas. The same thing with men of color. Like, we can't take this personal because that's how people feel. You have to be successful. You need to control your own images. You need to control your industries. And you need to do these things, and it takes work. It takes years to overcome. That's the only way to do it without being upset about it, because we already know how they feel, and you can't change it. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Jungle. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high. I'm out.